Good morning, art friends. So now that we've learned a little about Picasso, let's go ahead and make our Picasso bouquet of peace inspired artwork. Ours is going to be a little different because we're going to keep practicing our color and our color wheel as we make our flowers. So we're going to make color wheel flowers in our bouquet, and then we're going to have, just like Picasso created this bouquet of peace that's about like sharing and showing kindness to one another, we're going to create two hands so that in our picture we're handing a bouquet of flowers to someone too. For this piece, you need a few supplies. You're going to need your strips of paper, right? We have our color wheel here. We have our red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple strips of paper. These will be for the petals of our flowers. You have two pieces of paper. These will be for the two hands that are going to be giving the bouquet to each other. And then you have your large piece of project paper so we can fit all of our work in this one big collage piece. You're going to want a pencil to draw your leaf shapes and to draw the center of your flowers. You'll need your scissors to cut them out, and you'll need your glue bottle because, again, this is another type of collage that we're making. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, for the first part, you're going to trace your hand on both pieces of your big pieces of brown papers. Okay? You'll have to hold your hand really still, and when your hand is holding still, it has the extra benefit of holding down your paper for you while you trace your hand with your pencil. Take your time to do it, and if you miss a spot, just go back. Okay, so you'll do that not one time, but two times for the two hands that are handing each other something. The two hands that are being kind to one another. Okay, now I have my scissors. I'm going to remember all of my safety things for my scissors. That my scissors always cut away from me. That my helper hand is going to do important work by turning the paper so that my scissors can just keep on cutting away. And it's easier that as you go, if you can cut off some of the paper that's getting in your way, it makes it way easier. I'm just going to keep turning the paper, keep my helper hand out of the way as I go. I'm going to go ahead and cut this all the way to the edge, get that other paper out of the way. You're going to need to practice those cutting skills. It's important. I know that cutting can be hard sometimes, but it's only going to get easier if you practice. So try not to have someone do the cutting for you. Try to do the cutting yourself. Okay, there's one hand. I'm going to go ahead and cut my other one. Okay, now that I cut cut out both of my hands, I'm going to go ahead and glue the first one down in the middle of my paper. So, you can see, pull this all the way up. See how it's the middle of my paper? So I'm going to have part of my hand, well, your hands are smaller, so maybe your whole hand will fit. But the part that sticks out, I'll eventually just trim that part off if I want. Now I'm going to glue this down right in the middle. I'm going to put lines of glue through all the fingers to help them stay down. And I'm going to go around the outside. Remember, we always go around the outside. I'll put a little in the middle too. That should be about the right amount of glue to glue this down. So it's right in the middle. Put it down a little bit. Right in the middle of my paper. Trim off this extra. Okay. All right, before I glue my other hand down, I need to draw the stems of my flowers. I'm gonna get out one of my crayons to draw my stems. I think I'm just gonna use a black to draw the stems of my flowers. So I'm gonna draw a line over my fingers, because this is the hand that's getting the flowers. And I want all four of my lines to kind of head off in different ones. So I'll have a flower here, a flower here, a flower here, and a flower over here. I'm bringing all my stems together in the middle. Okay, now let's glue this hand on top. This is the hand that's passing the flowers. Stems doing a little bit more. Okay, so now I can glue this one on because it's holding and passing them to that one. So this hand's going to be on the top because it's the closest thing to us in the piece. We're laying down each finger so that my fingers get glued down. Okay, so we drew 4 stems because we're going to make 4 flowers. You have strips of paper. The first thing we need to do is for each color, you're going to cut out a petal for that flower. So using a nice oval shape. It's always a good idea to draw our flower shape first, our petal shape first. That way we can have a line to trace. So I need 4, just like that, of all of these colors. And then I'm going to pick 4 colors to be the middle of my flowers too. So that's a lot of cutting work to do. 4 petals of each color, but also a circle to be the middle. And I'm going to you can do the circles for the middle in any color that you want. You should have plenty of paper. So there's one circle for the middle. There's another circle for the middle. Another one. And another one. Okay, now I'll do the 4 different petals, or I'll do 4 petals for each of my colors. So go ahead and do that. Now this is a lot of work to do, so you might want to do some and then take a break from the cutting and come back to it. But I want you to be in charge of the cutting for this assignment because it's important for us to keep practicing. That's how we're going to get better. Okay, I'm going to go off and cut mine and you cut yours, and when you're ready, come back to my video and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, do you have a pile of all of your petals, one for each of our colors? It's time for us to start to make and glue down each one of our flowers. Now remember, we're making color wheel flowers. So when we glue our petals on, I'm gonna go ahead and glue the center of my flowers on. When we glue our petals on, we're gonna glue them in our color wheel order. That's our rainbow, it's that rainbow order that we talked about earlier this year when we were learning about our colors. We know that the colors belong in a certain order because colors have relationships to each other. So the colors that are next to each other are the colors that help to make each other. So I'm going to start with one flower at a time. And I'm going to pick one petal of each color. And then we're going to start to put them in the color wheel order. So I can start with whatever color I want. Let's just start at the top of the rainbow order because that'll be the easiest for us. So red is first. Next to red is orange. Now my flowers are going to overlap a little bit, and that's going to be cool. So don't worry if your flowers overlap. That's kind of the point. They're all together in a big bouquet. They're not all separated. So next to red is orange. And orange is next to red because when we mix our two colors, our red and our yellow together, we make orange. So what color does yellow help make also? Yellow helps to make green. So that's why when we have yellow, we have orange on one side and green on the other because yellow helps to mix both those colors. Remember how we talked about that? Okay, so next to green is blue because yellow and blue make green. And then last we have purple because red and blue make purple. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. Now some of mine, I can see my pencil lines from when I drew my shape, because my cutting, and I'm sure yours too, isn't always just perfect on the line. So if you can see some of your pencil lines, make that the side that you glue down. That way you can hide those little pencil marks. Okay, so you just keep going around and gluing them down, and then next we'll move on to the next flower. And you can do these in any order that you want. The last flower that you put the petals on for will be the flower that's in the front. That will be the one because all the leaves will overlap on top of each other. The other one, so that'll be the one that's the closest to the front. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to do the other side one first, or next. So I'm going to again pick out one flower petal of each color for this one. And I'll start again with my red. Now I can start red here if I want and go around. It doesn't really matter where I put it. So let's start with red down here this time. So I have red, and next to red is orange. Next to orange is yellow. Next to yellow is green. Next to green is blue. And my last color for my color wheel, my 6-color color wheel, my beautiful flowers here, is my purple. Okay, 2 more to make. All right, pick out one of each color again. That should leave you with one last pile. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'm gonna move this guy just a little bit so he's not on top of there. But this one is gonna overlap on this one, that's okay. Okay, starting with red again. I'll do my red down here this time. Red. Orange, yellow, Green. Blue. Purple. I have my color wheel order again. And these times, these leaves are overlapping, so I know this one's in front. Well, this is the last one I'm doing, so it's going to be on top of all the rest. I have one last pile. So let's do our last flower together. Put the red at the top. Red. Maybe this time I'll go this way. Orange. Yellow. Green. Blue. Purple. All right. I have my beautiful color wheel flowers. I have 4 of them. I have their stems coming down. I've made a beautiful bouquet. I'm going to go through and I'm going to add some more stems. This will make this an even bigger bouquet of flowers by adding some more stems there. Even if I don't see the flowers, maybe those are just the ones, the little ones that are behind it. Maybe I want to add a couple little leaves on my flowers too. And now I have this beautiful bouquet of flowers to give to somebody that I care about. I can't wait to see your finished pieces of your beautiful color wheel flowers.